What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. This is Chris. We are going to go over goals, daily schedule, and just general reselling tips this morning. Today, we're going to start with the concept of Crazy Lamp Lady because I've just been watching a little bit more YouTube than I normally do just to get an idea of what people are doing. And she is a great picker. So I just want to point out, if you guys haven't checked out Crazy Lamp Lady, I'm going to put that in the chat. Her store is actually, I'll put her store in the chat. It has 100 rare items in it. And I find that incredible. So if you guys are um, wondering what a small, tight store would look like, this is one of my favorites. 100 really rare items, probably averages $100 a piece, all auctions. So, I mean, this is like a 25 item a week listing process and getting about $10,000 per month gross. I'd imagine probably half, at least half profit, because these are all what appear to be thrifted finds or estate sales or maybe some rare things. These are things that most people would pass on because they're very fragile. So talking about 100 rare vintage um, pieces. I put her store in the chat for you guys to check out. Very cool. Just opened her eBay shop. Looks like she has about 400 sales per month. Um, and I would guess maybe less because she has a YouTube audience. She has a huge channel, and so maybe more people leave a feedback than normal. But incredible store. So for all of you guys out there, it's really important to come up with a strategy. So it looks like Crazy Lamp Lady strategy from first glance is the 100 best items per week, no garbage. The no garbage store. 100 items that sell for good money, build an audience over time. Two more stores you guys should look at: Amazing Taste Store and Monica the Posh Hanger. They both have, I think, over 5,000 followers in their store from listing the same kind of stuff for almost a decade. Both of those stores are very similar, list similar stuff every month, develop a following, repeat buyers. That's one way to build a eBay business versus just a side hustle. So let's start with Joe. Joe, can you chat for a few minutes?
Yeah, man.
How is the schedule going? You guys have a very strong, aggressive goal, 300 items per week. How's that looking?
The first 2 weeks is not looking all that good.
Okay.
We've had lots of hiccups. I think one thing we failed to really plan for was last week we were on a shortened week um, because of a uh, top secret engagement that we had on Friday. So we did get close. We got 225 listed last week. Um, and I think this week that's probably a realistic goal just because of the amount of inventory that we have and we have coming in. I think, this is we for me. I was really hoping to get that 300 right off the bat, but it's going to be probably the progression over the course of a month, just because of how much more inventory I'm needing to purchase. Um, that I'm for that many items, I have to be somewhat more selective, especially with the $10 profit per item goal. So I'm having to be somewhat more selective. So I'm having to cast the net a little bit further to make sure that I'm finding items that are the profit margin that I'm wanting.
Okay.
So I'm working towards now procuring another source or two so that I can ensure that I'm getting the amount of items that I want at the profit margin that I want.
Hmm. That's so right now the 300 a week obstacle is getting the 300.
Yes, at the profit margin that I want. I mean, I can order a lot more, but I'm only making like maybe like I can order probably 1,000 cell phones a week, but I may only make $3 or $4 per one, and I'm not really prepared to do that right now. I want to make sure that I'm using that cash that we do have to buy the items that are going to give us the $10, at least the $10 profit per item within the time frame that we're wanting.
At one point, I actually had the goal of $5 profit items, and no larger than $1 cost.
Yeah,
And the cost of shrinkage being $1, because when you list garbage stuff, you have garbage customers, you have garbage returns. So like I was factoring 20% being an issue.
yeah,
But so $5 profit with a $1 cost, $1 shrinkage, $3 listing, that didn't work. Like it was such a headache. Literally, I think I had 8 or 9 thousand items when I was going that route, and it was like the most ridiculous thing ever. I would have like an entire car full of packages, and like was not making that much more. So I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. Maybe when you have the because if you can order a thousand phones a week and they're all profitable or close to profitable, is that the way to go instead of diversifying in a couple more? I don't know.
yeah. And that's kind of work on what I'm working through right now. And it's like, and I know with certain model phones, they're going to sell very, very quickly. And even same thing with like with cameras and GPSs. I'd really like to be able to find another source for digital cameras. So I've got to figure out where else I can buy them. I'd bought some liquidation lots, and those did not go very well from the retailer that they were from. Um, so that was I was hoping that would work out, but it didn't work out. Like we made some money, but not what we want to make.
Hmm. So what can you do? Okay, so you can set up news sources.
Yep.
Set up news sources. Is that going to be the main way that you get new stuff?
And yes, and I think here's the deal. It's like we have the different product lines, we have the different categories. You know, the digital cameras, GPSs, cell phones, those items. Um, that the GPS and cameras, they're very, very profitable because I can buy them for a couple dollars, like you know, two, three, $4, and then sell them on average for 25 bucks. I mean, on those, the profit margin for those after labor and shipping and fees is probably close to 13, 14 bucks. Whereas the cell phones, we sell them a lot. I mean, I don't. We sell a lot of digital cameras. I mean, I shipped out probably 10 yesterday from the weekend. Um, and we probably only have maybe 150 listed because they sell quick. So I guess it's really just fine tuning that strategy even more about where do I want to put my money. Yes, I can buy these digital cameras and GPSs, and they do make very good money. But are the cell phones, are they going to bring it even more because they do have a slightly faster sell through rate? I do have 3 pallets of stuff that we just unloaded the other day that I've got to go through and get listed, but a lot of that's going to be local items. Um, and I don't ever factor that in to our listing goals because it's something that we do that's added bonus for the business.
So I have a question, Joe. Do
Yep.
you think that do you think about the average consumer that buys your stuff? Are you thinking about like serving a specific niche? Like, I'm assuming a $3 to $10 profit cell phone is under $100.
Yeah. I mean, these are like for cell phones, the target market that I have is the international market, mainly in the Dominican Republic and Middle East. Is that they have a very strong market for buying these phones, refurbing them, and selling them in their local towns. So there's specific phones that I look for, like Boost Mobile Sprint phones. Those sell very well, like in the Middle East, because of it's the CDMA technology. Whereas phones like T-Mobile, AT&T, Metro PCS, those sell extremely well to the Dominican Republic. So
Wow.
yeah, and really Metro PCS phones are really the target phones because they have the built-in app that allows you to unlock the device from the phone. Whereas like with AT&T, you can submit a request and do it, but with Metro PCS, it's like you can unlock the phone in a matter of 10 seconds. So those have a very strong appeal for people in the Dominican Republic because they want them unlocked to use with their local service providers.
Interesting. So somebody asked in the chat if you could
Yep.
lot these together.
You can, but I would probably have to hang on to when I order phones, like a big source that we have, they're just random phones that I'm buying for the odds. There's some places that I can buy like 50 of the same phone or 25 of the same phone, that the margins are smaller on. But a big place that I do buy them is they're all just kind of random. So I could lot them together, but I'd probably have to hang on to inventory for probably 2 weeks so I can get, you know, 4 or 5 of the same phone to lot up. But then by that point, I would have already sold all 5 phones individually for probably about the same price, because it really, like for the Dominican Republic, because the customs are so rigid, you can only import no more than 3 phones. So when people from the Dominican Republic are buying phones, that they can only have 3 shipped at a time. So you can lot them up in threes, but it would like 3 would be the max. But there's really not a lot of save in time, just because I can use that same listing over and over again for like I don't know. Here's a popular phone right here. This is like a ZTE Sonata 2. Like it'll sell for $34.99. It's got some scratches on it, and it'll sell in 2 or 3 days for $34.99. Or I can lot it up in a lot of 3 and probably sell it for about $28 a piece. And I'm
Hmm.
like, so it's really, you're not, because it's you're selling to the buyer in the Dominican Republic, that there's larger businesses and there's a lot of smaller ones that they only buy 1 or 2 phones at a time.
Hmm.
But it could be done, and people do it. Uh, it's just, if I had enough of the same phone, I used to do a lot of that. I used to have a lot of direct buyers, but that's when I was able to buy 500 or 600 phones at a time. Which the suppliers that I've had, they've they don't have they aren't getting those phones like they used to.
Hmm. So yeah, it seems like lots would be better because the person is just paying one shipping cost. But shipping isn't that expensive, is it, for a cell phone?
No, it's maybe $3.50 first class. If they buy 2, it'll be around $5.50.
What about
Uh,
international?
I don't ship international. Like
Oh, you're
they
just doing GSP?
no, all these
Oh.
people, they use forwarders.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Yeah,
I
I
wonder if
ship
you're
to Florida mostly, and if it's going to Europe, it'll go to like Delaware or New Jersey.
interesting. So, hmm, I wonder if they would if do you offer free shipping?
Yeah, I do. I mean, with these phones, you've almost have to, because um, everybody is doing in this, and for the customers that I'm looking for that really buy these, they want that.
That is so interesting because the cost of freight forwarding is pretty expensive. It's just that people trust those companies to handle their goods properly. So if you were in another country ordering phones, you'd want to order, 10 phones to come to the one shipping forwarder and have one package go to you in a different country. If you charge for shipping, I don't know if you guys know this in the chat. You should probably write this down. If you have a lot of international customers, you should probably charge for shipping. The reason is because if you build in your shipping for free shipping, so let's say your item is $40 plus $5 shipping, or $45 including shipping, and then you have, let's say, a $12.95 shipping cost for shipping for a phone or something internationally, or what is the internet? Oh, actually, I think it's about $13 on the high end. So $13 to ship a phone. If you do 40 plus 13, that's $53. But if you do 40 45 plus 15. It's more expensive because they're paying your built-in domestic shipping also. So you have to, if you have a lot of international customers, it's more eBay is even more complicated because you need to figure out the free shipping versus non-free shipping. You'll see a lot of huge stores that you would think would do free shipping, but they don't because of the international thing. They would be double charging the customer shipping. They pay domestic and international. But if you ship to freight forwarding, um, it's kind of like the concept of making people earn free shipping. So you have like $10 shipping, or any items over one order still ship for $10. So you encourage your buyers to buy two, three, four, five of something if you go that route. But it all depends. Like, and this is why it comes down to, you have to know who is buying your products. If it's 100% consumers, like for example, Crazy Lamp Lady is selling a rare home decor, probably not. People are buying more than one piece. Maybe if they have the same taste as her, but I feel like things that are going international, like for example, I've sold now 5 GoPros, and 5 out of 6 have gone international. That's interesting to me. So, and one of them was fraud. So probably right on cue with really expensive items. There's a lot of fraud.
Yeah, when I ship direct international, I only ship to Canada, Australia, in England. That's the only countries that I ship directly to as far as cell phones go. There's so much fraud in Russia and then in the Ukraine. It's crazy. There's no way that I would ship directly to any of those countries.
Mm, makes sense. Yeah, these countries where these phones, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Where the cheap phones are is like the most fraud. That's like a thing. The fraud GoPro situation. So far, I'm getting to keep the money, but the person did a chargeback. So maybe stolen credit card. I don't know, but it's covered by PayPal seller protection. So already shipped. So as long as it arrives, it should be fine. However, they could. I think this is what could happen. They could receive the item and then send it back to me, um, and enforce a return. I don't know though. That I think that could happen. They could get the item. Um, Now here's the thing: if they just refuse the package, that's okay. I just get my GoPro back, start over again. If they open it, take the GoPro out, put a bag of rice in it, and send it back, that's more complicated. Now I have to go back in. eBay is now off the transaction. They remove the listing, which I think is garbage. They shouldn't remove the listing while it's active. We should flag it or something. Removing it is even more complicated. They're basically saying they don't want to touch it. They want to move the responsibility on the PayPal. I don't know. It's annoying because there's that they're just not taking eBay responsibility for the item. So that can happen. If eBay removes the person off of eBay because they suspect fraud, most likely they'll remove the listing as well. So that's an eBay thing, trying to reduce fraud. So 300 a week. You guys can do that with your current crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you Do you feel like you need to clear up your schedule so you can spend more time sourcing, or how does that work?
Um, I'm working. I don't know about sourcing when you obviously you're looking for new places. Yes. But I mean I probably spend maybe an hour. Like once I get in with the call, I'll go ahead and ship. And yes, I know it's during the day, but my mail
Mm-hmm.
lady comes like at 10:30, and I don't want to
Mm,
have to get into the car to go drive a 40-minute round trip to go to the post office. So we always ship before then. So I'll do that, and then after that, I'll probably spend an hour sourcing, looking at what's available, what's coming down the next couple of days. Look on these bulk sites to see what they have available, what kind of deals I can get on those phones, um, and go from there. So I would say maybe probably an extra 20 minutes a day spending trying to find some new sources for some different items. I mean, cell phones, I pretty much know all of those that are going to be within the price range and the items that I want. but digital cameras and GPSs, I don't. That's one area where I still don't know a lot of the sources, even if they've got to have them somewhere because they're just not going into the dump. So somewhere they're out there. I just got to find them.
Okay. Yeah. Why is your post office 40 minutes away? Oh, is that round
Round
trip?
trip.
Round trip.
Yeah. I mean, it's so many traffic lights and roundabouts. I'm probably 5 miles from the post office, but by the time I get in the car and go over there, it's 20 minutes just to get there because the amount of stoplights and stuff. Like it's a direct trip through town. And Arkansas drivers, they don't really know how to drive.
I think that's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
People suck at driving everywhere. I think that.
Nashville was the worst, man. I thought I was going to die every day because there'd be one person doing 40 on the interstate and there'd be another person doing 100, and they're crazy, like idiots. So I wish it was closer, but it's not.
I have just looking it up. I have 4 within 5 miles here. 4 different post offices.
It's the perks of living in a big city.
Yeah, but then no, you have to have a small, expensive store.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, what was? Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, what did you learn over the weekend?
List more.
List more.
That is really the key to this. List more.
How are you gonna set up your
And
day?
today is a little bit different as far as the shipping. I got to get it gone first because I got a deal going down an hour away that a lady gets a bunch of new inbox donations for her nonprofit that don't work for her nonprofit, and I'm going to check them out and see what we got. I met her last week. But normally it's list in the morning whenever I have the most brain power, and then I'll do the monkey work later.
Okay. What
Did
about
26 yesterday.
26?
Got 26 banged out yesterday. Yeah, and I did a monster this morning, 1 for 500 this morning. So
Nice.
I'll take that as a good listing to start the day.
Mm-hmm. So with your 100-item goal, is what's the challenge? Is it sourcing? Is it listing?
Listing right now, but once I give this another week or two of really hitting listing hard before sourcing is going to be a problem. That's why, because I'm going through inventory reserves. I got estate sales tomorrow, and I'll do those to about 10 or 10:30. I'll be able to source a little bit there. I did go to that connection thing you talked about for the shoes, and I bought 8 or 9 pair from them and already sold 4, so that's going to be a good connection. That's just as many as I can buy. I just got to find the right things. I mean, they have Gaylords and Gaylords of shoes.
How far is that from you?
20 minutes.
Okay.
So that's going to be a good little connection, I think. But hopefully I can find some replenishables for this one lady today. That's the hope.
Okay. Let's go to Matt. Matt, good morning. I don't know if you can step outside for a moment. I'd be curious to see how your goal is coming together.
Already outside.
Nice. How's the 400-item goal?
Great. Getting there. Just got a table saw. Just set that up so I can start building some shelves in my container.
And that's 80 a day, right? At that pace?
Yeah. It's going to take 20 hours of my employee taking just photos, 20 hours of me describing. That's 400. That's 80 a day. That's 5 hours a day, doing 80 a day. Or 4 hours a day, sorry. But yeah, then I have to do all the other stuff. I got to take a lot of time to go sourcing and find all the stuff, ship all the stuff. It's a lot more than just 40 man hours, because there's a lot more to it than just photos and describing.
How long do you think the shipping would take?
Shipping right now I only sell like 120 items a week, so it doesn't take very long. But if I got up to 400, it'd be minimum an hour a day, probably closer to an hour and a half or 2 hours a day.
And are they all shipping the same way or similar? Do they go padded? Do they go?
Yeah, flat rate envelopes, pretty much all of them. I weigh everything. A pair of men's jeans is never going to be under a pound.
Mhm.
So, you pretty much always you put those in a flat rate envelope. But golf pants, stuff like that can go into just a regular poly mailer and
Do
be
you
shipped
get
first class.
do you get many repeat buyers or multi-order?
Not really. Not really.
I would say that's not your market.
Yeah.
I don't think people. I mean, I don't usually buy two random pairs of pants.
Yeah. Sometimes people I'll have some Joseph A. Bank Lead Better Golf or Lead Better Golf. I don't know what it is.
Mm.
Pairs of pants that are all the same size. Like I got 3 or 4 of them listed the exact same way, and somebody will make me an offer on all 4 or something.
Mm.
That's pretty much the only time I ever have a multi order.
Do you have a multi-order discount set up?
Only on things that I have more than one quantity of. That's the exact same.
Hmm. That's like the quantity per like on the single listing.
Yeah, if the listing is like I bought I think 8 pairs of flame resistant Carhartt pants for $6 a piece, probably like a month and a half ago. And I had a multi discount on those of like 10% for 2. If you get 3, it's 15%. If you get 4, it's 25% or something. So I had a few people buy more than one of those.
Awesome. So with your 400 goal, is the problem sourcing, listing? Apparently, it seems like listing is straightforward.
Yeah, dude, I don't have any problems anymore, man. I got my container. I got everything set up. It's just all I got to do is execute now, man. Building some shelves. That's what I'll be doing today. But after that, I'll have the shelves ready. I'll have the stuff here to list. All I got to do is find some stuff and list it.
It's so weird. People are so used to having problems to have someone say, I don't have any problems left. It's just execution. That means you've just thought it through.
I know, right? I'm so excited, man. I'm like, sweet, finally, I got everything good for like at least 3 or 4 months, before I got to really change something. Um, but yeah, sourcing could get better, I guess, because I'm spending a lot of time sourcing, but I can pull it off in a week with my time. Last Saturday, I found 88 pairs of pants at one thrift store within an hour and 15 minutes. So that was really nice. That really helped me out. And I'm going to go to that thrift store every week at the same time. Hopefully I can repeat that. But yeah, sourcing, that's the only thing that I think could really get a whole lot better. I got storage, I'm figuring that out right now. The photos, I pretty much got as good as I can get it. The listing, I do myself, and I'm really, really good at it, really fast. Pricing, all that.
What do you do you do free shipping?
No, I charge about $750
Okay.
each item, just every single item, $750.
What does it cost to ship 2 pairs of jeans? Do you go medium flat rate? What's the next step up?
If they'll fit in a padded flat rate, that's how I do it. But
Okay.
if they don't, I'll just do cubic shipping.
Ah, that's smart. Okay, so then you definitely need to add out the multi-order discount. So Witty username is saying you're missing out on that. You are for sure, because if you do 2 items ship for 10 or a $5 discount if you buy 2 or more jeans, that it ranks differently. Not only are people going to look for a second pair of pants, but like you're passing the shipping savings to them. I would do maybe $5.
That's a great idea because, I've got probably 500 pairs of 36 by 30 pants that somebody could look through.
Mm-hmm.
And if I rank better, hell yeah.
What's crazy is that the cubic shipping is not that much more. It's only like a dollar or two more for 2 pairs of pants.
Yeah, it's like $9 or something, if that. It's less than the size of a box of shoes. So
But
2
you
pairs of
are
jeans.
but you can offer the person it's a win for the customer. Even saying the second item ships free is nice.
Yeah.
You don't
I
lose
would,
too much on that. Does
yeah, I
that
don't
work
know.
out?
It would depend. The only thing I think about is like offers and stuff. Somebody sends me an offer and I don't realize they sent me an offer on 3 things, the same person, and then I send them a counter offer based on the fact that, I'm thinking of $750 being charged on each pair instead of, only one charge of $750. That's the only. I could just take best offer off of everything. That would be nice, I think. I want to do that.
Maybe under $25.
Yeah.
Some of the items, like I had a $45 pair of Lululemon pants. The guy offered 43. I almost declined. I'm like, why? But then I had best offer on. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't have if best offer was on, I would have
Chris,
lowballed.
you got to let them win sometime.
I know, I gotta let him win. I
Car
remember
business, man.
when I was doing the car business with Kyle. I remember like I wrote down some notes that one of the notes was look visually defeated, because I was like, if I don't look like I lost, they're never gonna buy this car. I need to just look like they just destroyed me. I didn't have to be cheesy like I'm gonna lose my job if I sell it to you for that price. That's so stupid, but yeah. Kim, there are 4 different store levels depending on your level. But again, like I need to address this really quick. I did a software report on List Perfectly, non-affiliated. I didn't have a coupon code or anything, and people were saying like $29 is expensive or $79 is expensive or whatever. I think you guys need to like look at what your goals are. Things are only expensive if you don't use them. If you have a $5 gym membership and you don't go to the gym, it's a waste of money. If you have $1,000 gym membership and you go every single day, I consider that worth it, because like you're getting your value out of the product. Stop looking at things at how much they cost and start looking at how much you get from investing in whatever tool that you're getting. So that's not no one in the chat mentioned that. I was just saying I got all these messages saying, "Ooh, $10 a month is expensive," or whatever, and I'm like, how do you evaluate what's expensive or not? For some people, they would pay literally $75 a month for the same tool. It just depends on how much your time is worth. I think everyone in the chat right now is worth at least $50 an hour. So if you're not, if you don't consider yourself worth $50 an hour, I wouldn't consider reselling. Reselling is hard. Who wants to do reselling for a low wage? If you're gonna resell, you might as well make some money at it. Kim is asking, what are my thoughts on Sellhound? My limited experience with Sellhound is that it's not faster than listing it myself. That's the problem with it. I would be investing in Sellhound, so it would be faster than doing it myself, and it's not.
I did 5 listings the other day on Sellhound, and I didn't think it was any faster.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was any better. I thought it was a waste of $2. I mean, I'll be happy to pay $5 if it's faster, but it's not.
Yep. That is exactly the my impression with it. So again, that's how you guys should evaluate products. Does it save you time? For example, they're about to pass this law in California where you can use the HOV lane, which is the high occupancy lane that is for carpools. If you're just one person, if you pay a $20 toll. And I know that's going to make a ton of money, because here $20 is nothing. Like $20 is like it's like a penny. No one cares. They're going to generate all this extra money, but people are complaining, saying it's unfair because regular people can't afford $20 on the way to work. I mean, it's just like somebody has to pay for all of this infrastructure and stuff. It's like this is crazy, guys. 80% of the charity is given by the top 5% of people. And I get that it's nothing to them, really, really small amount to them. That doesn't mean though that it's not 80% of all charity. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just here. They make things for rich people really, really, really expensive, and rich people are totally cool paying for it. They don't consider that expensive, but a poor person would look at something that's $10 a month that improves their business and be like, oh, that's too expensive. It's crazy to me. Listing store. Oh yeah, absolutely. Dave is making a great point here. Listing, storage, and shipping, all very, very costly. So Matt's doing the right thing right now, because I think if there's two things that you should be doing as a business owner when you're getting started, is listing and shipping. Those are the two most important in the beginning, because when you're listing, you're grading, you're learning the market, you're really understanding what's going on. If you list every item without paying attention to the price, you're not learning the markets. You should list everything in the beginning so you can understand how eBay works. Then the shipping part, you need to understand the customer service, and shipping is where you can get an advantage over your competitors. Matt's shipping 2 pairs of pants for under $10. If you don't know what you're doing and you take a pair of pants to the post office, one pair is over $10 when you go there. He's shipping 2 pairs for under $10 just from a little bit of shipping knowledge. Photography, though, if you sit down with a cup of coffee and write down what your picture you want your pictures to look like, and you have the right equipment, somebody else can do that for you immediately, instantly. Like literally within a week, you can hire someone to take the exact same photos for you. And if they can't, they can tell you why they can't, which is the best part. They'll be like, oh, you want me to take photos like this? I can't because your equipment sucks. You guys need to upgrade something or do something for it to work. So Kim, I'm not sure. I hope we have, or Kim says that she believes in my diversifying philosophy, but I hope that you do not have my philosophy screwed up. You have to be good at one platform before you add the second one. If you're just starting, Kim, you sound like you're just starting. For you, I do not recommend multiple platforms. I recommend you get good at one platform first before you move on. If you're just new, you need to get good at something. And if you get good at one, you can add the other ones. Trust me. Everyone that's really good at selling on one platform can be really good at selling on every platform. It's just like if you're average at one, you're going to be below average when you add all the other ones. Yeah. Also, yeah. When you look, this is an interesting point. Witty username says people who go to the post office to buy postage, they definitely lose money. But here, this is a good question. Should you invest in a thermal printer if you already have a printer and paper and you have tape? I don't know, because one of the largest Amazon sellers that I know, he does like $4 million a year. He tapes the freaking label on his box. He did that until he ran out of that stuff and then got a thermal printer. But he literally was so strategic. He was like, using paper and tape right now is cheaper. And right now I have time. Maybe in the future I won't have time, and time is money. But right now I can just work my butt off and save these pennies that I need to grow later. So again, I don't think you should always solve your problem with money. Not every time savings is worth it. Most people do not need a thermal printer. You don't.
I think it saved me an hour a week.
The thermal?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
But I'm saying, like, if you have the extra hour, I don't know.
I think it depends what
I
ink.
could list 10 items.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I recommend a thermal printer if you're gonna treat this as a business, but I'm just thinking about hobby sellers who just are starting. Like, I
Now,
see people buy a lighting kit and a thermal printer when they have 2 items in their store. I'm like, that's just procrastination. You need to be listing stuff. So Gina, Cherie is creating reseller boxes with 5 to 10 pairs of jeans. You should email me and I will see if those are worth it. Because I would be curious. Like, if Matt could buy 400 pairs of jeans inbound, that would be interesting. I actually think I could supply Matt. I don't know what would the cost would be. but I think I could provide 400 pairs of jeans in one pallet. A truck would just drop it off at Matt's spot once a week. I don't think I would earn enough money. I'd have to do more than just that one box of jeans to earn enough money to do anything. But
He could buy jeans in liquidation.
yep,
It's just not the margins he wants or he's accustomed to.
exactly.
Well, my buy cost right now is on average like $3. So that's just for a used pair of jeans. I don't know if I could get those any cheaper, or how much more expensive it would be. I mean, it'd be saving me like 30 hours a week of sourcing, so it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I know. You get 4,000 pairs of Old Navy jeans if you wanted, probably for 50 cents a piece. So Bridget is saying her roller printer saved her time and money. I think for most people, if you run a business, your thermal printer will save you money. But I just think that there are people that the investment in a thermal printer, let's just say it's $100. They would be better off using the $100 for more inventory and using the printer that they already own. That's I just think people need to focus on what's in front of them. Keith says he's not upgrading to thermal until he has an employee. Keith, you need a thermal printer. Your business is big enough. Like you should invest in one, just because actually, you know what? I don't know. I know a seller that's huge that doesn't use one, and I can't knock him.
We just went thermal like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were doing $30,000, $40,000 a month, shipping out 30 orders a day with granted we had a nicer inkjet printer. That ink was ridiculously cheap. But I wish I would have went thermal before then. But I totally agree. As a beginning reseller, you don't need a thermal printer. You don't need, you can just use regular paper and some tape. That there are other things to focus on besides trying to get the most glamorous stuff for your business.
Yeah, the power of broke. Ron is right. That's why I like Paul Akers. You guys should be listening to Paul Akers because he, built this giant business. When you go and look at his workshop, it's like, for example, I have this right here on my desk. It's a little holder that you can put a pen in. I paid $6 for this. Paul Akers would never pay $6 for this. He would make one out of paper for free and use it. He has a $40 million business. So it's just about this. He has the power of broke, but he's a multi-millionaire. He just doesn't waste money on things he can make himself. Does the exact same thing. He will never buy it. If it's better, he'll spend $1 million on it. That's like the true entrepreneur. Some things you cannot make yourself. Those things you buy. Your secret is note cards, 100 of them for 88 cents at Walmart. I wonder if that's for packing. Ink cartridges. That's a good question. Kyle, are you using newspaper to pack your packages?
Yes.
Does it work well?
Yeah, my wife, these were all these mailers that the school was supposed to put out, and somehow it didn't get put out, and I got 5 boxes of them.
All right. See, here we go. You can't.
That free number.
I know, free. Free is so nice. Free is nice. Anybody else have? Oh, bulletproof is printing on the 5x6 card. So no lineup. Another question. Another thing that came up was we have a person in the group. Jeffrey lives in Buffalo, and he has a huge warehouse, like 7,000 square feet with pallet racks and whatever. And he is really close to the border. So Canada Post sucks. So um, it's possible we could set up some kind of freight forwarding to get it into the US and ship through USPS, because flat rate is like a huge hack. You can ship from, Buffalo to California for the same price as whatever using flat rate. So I wonder about the Canadian resellers if we can put together something, because I feel like Canada has a lot of great items that people never sell because their shipping is not competitive. So I think it costs like $15 to ship a pair of shoes. There's no cubic available. $15 to ship a pair of jeans makes Matt's business way less desirable, because $7 is a lot. Sometimes that's the whole profit. If it costs $7 more to ship something. Kin is asking, when did I decide to start my second store for lower discount items? When I started buying really big lots, but I no longer want to do that. I'm just going to auction off the lower end items. I'm not going to resell them. I that You need a staff to do that, and I don't want that big of a staff. I hated my life when I had 7 employees. I kind of wish I did this every day when I was in that house, because it was ridiculous. I had people in 3 bedrooms, the garage, the living room. My photographer was cooking like giant um like huge trays of food to feed everybody. It was kind of interesting, but I don't know. I would rather just auction it off. Yeah, Dave, that's a good question. Dave is saying, do each of these guys have the opportunity for unlimited sourcing? Not everyone in the group, but that is a concern for me. I kind of want to go to Columbus, or maybe not Columbus, maybe Oklahoma or Texas, somewhere more central, get a big warehouse, get 100 reseller friends. This is the grand idea. Um, Maybe even where Matt's at. Maybe Matt can be the East Coast setup. So we form a group called the Reseller Collective, right? Reseller Collective. And all you do is package you're one of the 100 approved buyers. You package all your stuff, send it into our fulfillment center. Somebody like Matt is there listing every single item for the whole 100 group. That person does all the accounting. They issue a paycheck to every single person. You can get 401k, you can get healthcare, and all you do is just source and send stuff in. That's it. Nothing else. No other part of the reselling. You're just a buyer. That is a cool idea. With 100 people, now you start getting discounted rates for retirement stuff, discounted rates for healthcare. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm in.
I know, right? Not Amazon FBA, because it'd be pre-owned items. Yeah, that's
Hey,
right.
as long as I don't have to list it.
What's that?
As long as I don't have to list it.
That's what I mean. You wouldn't have to list it.
Fun part. Yeah, I'm in.
So and that's something that we can set up that lives beyond us. Like if we're looking for let's say the reseller collective is owned by the people who work in it. That's great. Like, okay, here in the Bay Area, there's a bakery that's owned by the people who work there. That's insane. The cashier owns part of it. The janitor owns part of it. The restaurant is immaculately clean. Like it looks like a hospital, but everyone that works there owns it. That's really, really, really cool. I don't know how you pull off something like that. What happens if somebody can't work anymore? That's the question that I have. Do they retain a small ownership of it beyond it? I don't know. But
Probably they have a clause where they have the option to sell it.
Yeah, maybe they have the option to sell it.
If you quit, you have to sell it back, or you can move to Arkansas. Like Kansas City's 5 hours from here. Oklahoma City, pretty much there's so many big cities that are close within 5 hours that could be a lot of sourcing opportunities.
Ed says
and
that
it's cheap.
Yep, it's cheap. Ed said the ROI standards would have to be set. Yeah, I think it would have to be something like $50. However the listing process works, it would have to be $50 or replenishable, because those type of third-party fulfillment already exist for eBay as long as it's new and multi quantity. People do not fulfill used items.
As long as I can leverage my existing wholesale connections, I'm all kinds of game for that.
Right. So once you have some replenishables, guys like Ty, you can just send them in. It starts to make more and more sense. Yeah, exactly. Frank is saying the land is cheaper. Otherwise, I mean, clearly, after I went to Phoenix, it made me, to be completely honest, it made me not want to resell at all. When I went to Phoenix, my friend has a 6,000 square foot place for less than $1,000. His house is 200 grand. I'm like, your advantage over me is mind blowing. It's so, you could have a crew of people like, and also minimum wage is lower. Minimum wage is under $10. Minimum wage is $14 here. Like trying to get somebody here, I'm like, why am I competing? I was thinking to myself, I can only do the buying. There's so much good stuff here. You can go to a thrift store and find something that's $100 every 2 or 3 stores. You could go to 9 stores a day and come home with 5 items that are $1,000. Probably. You might have to pay up a little bit because some of the Goodwill stores here are like, you know, have $500 items for sale that are 200. And if you have capital, you would just do that because it's like worth it. But it's crazy. Logistics would be very interesting. I know plenty of people who are in the logistics and wouldn't and are the opposite. They would never want to sell. I'm sorry, they would never want to pick. They only want to do the processing part. I feel like that's part of that person would be me. I would enjoy figuring out the processes to fulfill having a reseller co-op where everyone sends stuff in and then it gets taken care of and listed, and then you don't do anything. Also, if you have a store like that, that store can have its own website, right? Which is inexpensive. You can sell stuff, and then if the people that were in the reseller collective had a YouTube channel, right? If it was required that you post your finds, right? Like, oh, if you're a crazy lamp lady and you want to be part of the reseller collective, then the whole store's reputation grows because it has all these people that are great at picking stuff is in your store. I didn't know this, guys. If you do an auction, sometimes they charge the seller nothing because the stuff is so good, and they charge the buyer a buyer's fee. I didn't know that. I didn't know that existed. If you have a rare painting that's worth 100 grand, they might pay you 100 grand. Then the person who buys the 100 pays a 10% fee or 15% fee, and they take that from the buyer because you bringing the piece to the auction elevates the whole auction. So very interesting. Again, it also comes down to I can earn, most people on this call right now, and you guys listening at home, you guys can earn what you need to do on your own unless you have, I think, if your nut is under 30 grand a month, you can do it yourself and with a small crew. You don't need a company or something, but you need to get organized. Gaming is big in the Midwest, has a huge warehouse. Yeah. I think everything is big in the Midwest. It's just more spread out. Do I do the video showing the best types of jeans to buy? I did one and it ranks really well and it's really bad. It was just me talking about 50 brands of jeans in no particular order. But what you can use is just go to Terapeak and type in the brands, and it will show you which ones sell for which much or how much demand there is for certain items. And there's hundreds of different brands. I bet Matt has seen multiple hundreds of different brands. There's a lot.
Yeah,
You
that
can,
reminds me.
yep.
Well, my girlfriend, I took her sourcing last week, and I told her to look at the women's jeans, and I got her on the on her phone looking up solds and stuff, and American Eagle jeans, women's jeans, certain sizes and certain styles have a bad sell-through rate, and others have a sell-through rate of like 200%, right? And that
Yep.
just kind of amazed me. I was like, Women's jeans is totally different than men's jeans. You know?
Yes. This is, thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. This is so awesome because this is really, really on point. American Eagle jeans in certain sizes for women sell like crazy, men's too. And sometimes for $40 or $50. I've seen as high as like $70 for a regular pair of American Eagle jeans. That being said, there are some that won't sell for $1 plus shipping. Okay, so I love it. I love that people will not listen to what I just said, go out to the thrift store, buy 100 pairs of American Eagle jeans, go home and not sell any of them. That kind of brings me a small amount of sadistic pleasure from you not doing any homework whatsoever and just expecting that to work. Like you have to figure it out. Go on a Terapeak and start searching sizes, look at the brand. It's free with a store subscription. If it's too expensive for you to get a store subscription, then don't resell. Just go get a job. $25 is not expensive for a tool that aggregates all that data for you.
Hey, and
Terapeak is,
Terapeak,
yep.
Terapeak is amazing, especially like if you're on your phone and you're only pulling up and you're only seeing some sold completed and there's not any. If it's a super rare piece, there's not going to be any. I had a little carved witch I bought right around Halloween time that I was like, oh, it's a $30 thing. There's other ones like it, $30. I put it into Terapeak. I found out it was a $99 thing. Same thing with that powder I sold the other day for $40. There was none listed, none sold, but one sold 6 months ago.
Let me find the Phoenix Trading Company. I think I may have found a store that's all plus size women's jeans. Let me see. Yep, here we go, baby. Put this in the chat. You guys ready for this? 6,000 pairs of women's plus size pants. There you go, Matt. This is the female version of your store, Phoenix Trading Company. They have 700,000 feedback. It's so awesome. So, guys, if you're thinking about, here, and this is actually an excellent example. You have 35,000 listings, 6,000 pants, right? Women's pants, all plus size. And you got to go through their souls and figure out that literally most of them are selling for $1 plus shipping. Some are $10 plus shipping. Some are expensive. It just depends. My email is chris@dailyrefinement.com.
And
What's up,
another
Jessica?
thing with the like women's jeans and some of the things that women buy in general. Hopefully, YouTube didn't count a strike or whatever on the music in the background, but is that a lot of those specific items, say for example jeans, there will be a trend for a certain style of jean or a certain brand of jean, and you will see the market flex up or down. And you could look at makeup, you can look at any kind of things like any emotional buy market, and watch the trends happen.
Interesting. Michael Sellers is starting. Oh, yeah. See, Michael, this is the thing. If you watch a video on what to buy, it will change. You have to look like right now. And most videos, I think that most information is probably dated immediately. When you look at the big players, they're doing repricing every 15 minutes to 1 hour. So unless the video you just watched is based on solds that day and you're able to buy it right now and list it the same day, it's going to change literally the next day. You have to really pay attention to long-term things. This is why like American Eagle is such a good example. American Eagle jeans in certain sizes have sold really well for a long time, many years, but not all sizes. So which sizes, you have to do your own homework when you go. Ooh, this is crazy. So Frank Martinez is saying they go with his girlfriend to Los Angeles Fashion District, which is literally miles and miles and miles of stuff. And she's leaving with 2 dresses. if that doesn't indicate to you guys what reselling is really all about, then nothing will. That's amazing. That means you're going there with millions of options and leaving with 2. That's probably because she knows what she's doing. Some people would get to the LA fashion district, go into the first store, buy the 20 items, and then go home. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Doesn't work. Yeah, Kevin is saying by the time the video has released the style has changed. In most parts, yeah. This is okay. You need to look at where the market is going to. The way to earn money online for a lot of people is to build up something, release it. So Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, they released that makeup thing where they sold 1 million units in one day. That product is dead. Can't resell it. Can't get, even if you got 500 of them, you're not going to resell them for a profit. They would all be a loss. They destroyed the entire market in one day. You could be like, oh wow, they sold 1 million units in one day. Go and get and not be able to sell any of them for a profit. That does not matter. It doesn't. What do you think of this idea for finding local suppliers? Search eBay by zip code. That's a great idea. That's how you find out how competitive your market is in general. Like, let me give you guys an example. Where I live, there are 200 Rosses and $15 stores and 4 post offices within 5 miles. Like, in 2 directions, I could walk to a post office. That's how much density there is here, right? And if I look up like how many shoes are for sale in 10 miles, it's like 250,000. How is that even possible? That there's that many shoes for sale in this little tiny area. But in those 200 Rosses, this is, I always complained about never finding anything at Ross. I'm like, how are there all these Ross haul videos? I've never found a single thing. And then I went with my wife was like, let's just see if we can find some stuff at Ross. And we went to 20 Rosses, found 2 pairs. Like, it's really challenging. Depends on where you live. There's a lot of shoe resellers where I live. Oh, that's crazy. Michelle is saying she would love to see a reverse Terapeak where she can put the demographic in and see what they're buying. See, this is why Facebook is so cool. Facebook, you can. Facebook, if you type in a demographic, maybe Michelle, you should run some Facebook ads, because when you go into Facebook and you type in 30 to 60-year-old female, they will tell you where they live, what they buy, what groups they hang out in, what keywords they search. That's probably an interesting way to reverse engineer what people are buying. And Facebook Marketplace is gigantic. It's huge. They have all the data too for what people are buying. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, some people, this is I'm going to end on this note because we're way over on time. If you guys do 2 people, you need to double your productivity. If Kyle was going to say he wanted to bring his wife into the operation, we would have to set at least double the goals, because now you have 2 people. It's way more risky. I usually recommend reselling. One person works a regular job and the other person is a reseller, usually, unless you really know what you're doing and you have like 25 to 50 grand saved up so that you can buy a big lot. Because I see that. Actually, that happened with Joe too recently on this call. Sometimes you come up on a lot. You have to be able to buy that lot and make hay. And then other times during the year, there's nothing to buy. So that can happen as a reseller. It's not like a job where your income is the same. Go ahead, Kyle.
And sometimes your wife's a teacher. You get seasonal help.
There you go. Sometimes your wife's a teacher.
Hey, but on the zip code search, man, this is just a weird one. You told me to do that. I searched in my area. I searched keyword vintage, and I have a vintage granny panty seller in my area, and they are a hammer. They are selling 10 pair of vintage granny panties a day. I was shocked in little old East Texas town.
Oh, I love it.
I can't even make this up. I'm like, who is this person?
I love businesses. Like there was a lady on Shark Tank that made her own pet carrier backpacks. She made backpacks she's like, I wanted to carry my dog like a baby, so I made a backpack for it, and I started selling them. And they're like, how much do you sell them for? And she's like, $180 or something. And every one of the judges was shocked, and she's like, is that expensive? Like, she had no idea. Like, because she only like hangs out with specific dog owners who love their dogs at that level, and for those people, $180 for a dog backpack is not a lot. So understanding your market is what you guys should take away from this. Also, if you're going to have two people in your eBay business, make sure that you at least double your goals, because it's just really risky. Not having health insurance, all that stuff adds up. All right, everybody. Everyone have a great day. I will see you guys tonight if you want to hop on. Take care.